Going to college or university could be one of the biggest mistakes you make in life. Sure, it made sense in the past, but we live in a very different time. Today I'm going to speak about 3 hidden risks that almost no one ever speaks about, and then I'm going to tell you about the different alternatives you can consider instead of going to college. Hidden risk number 1, career risk. When you go to college and get a degree, you are assuming that that specific field will still be in high demand and exist in 4 years. Now, back in the day, this was almost guaranteed. The world changed slowly. But this is no longer the case. We are currently living in the exponential age. Technology and innovation is happening faster than it's ever happened before in human history. The amount of change that used to happen in 100 years now happens in just 10 years. And this is going to speed up even more because of the emergence of AI. Let's say you're in high school and you plan on spending 4 years studying to become an architect, someone who designs buildings for a living. Well, it turns out that AI is already getting pretty good at this. There are apps out there where you can simply scan a room and it will give you several designs that would fit into those dimensions. It's already pretty good, not good enough to completely replace an architect, but just imagine where it might be 4 years down the line. Let me remind you, this is how much Midjourney advanced in a single year. Imagine how good it will be in 4 additional years. Now, this doesn't mean that all architects will lose their jobs, but it does mean that a single experienced architect will soon be able to do the work of 10 to 20 people, which ultimately means that the amount of positions available for future architects will decrease significantly. In 4 years, the environment will most likely become much more competitive, where companies lean towards hiring people that already have experience. So if you go to college, you are essentially making a huge bet, usually a 4-year bet that costs tens of thousands of dollars, that this career path will still be in high demand by the time you graduate. This is not as safe of a path as you think it is. If it only took you 1 or 2 years, I would say that's okay. It's not that risky. But 4 years? That is a lot of time. And this is even worse if you are still in high school and watching this video. If you are 6 to 8 years away from getting the degree you want, forget about it. The world will look vastly different in 8 years. In order to survive in this new world, you need to stay flexible and make small, calculated bets, not large 4-year bets just because society tells you it's the best move. It's a far safer bet to invest your time on career paths that allow you to start making money in just a few months, which is why I made a video on the top 5 remote careers available on the market today. These are careers that require only 3 to 6 months of study before being able to land a job. These careers are high paying, with large room to grow, with the additional benefit of being remote jobs which allow you to have the freedom to travel or work at home. I will link to that video in the description box below. The second and third type of risk are salary risk and opportunity cost. Salary risk is the assumption that you will make more than people who don't have a 4-year degree. An opportunity cost is basically how much you are potentially missing out on by making a certain bet. In order to best illustrate these 2 risks, let me lay out 4 possible paths you can take. Note, I'm basing salary estimations off of what Glassdoor reports. The first path is your typical 4-year college to get a degree. The average tuition for public colleges is $9,000 per year, so that's a total of $36,000. The average college graduate with an entry-level job gets paid around $60,000. Let's assume you get hired immediately after graduating. 5 years from now, you will have made $60,000 minus $36,000, which is $24,000. The second path is to go to a trade school. This usually takes a year and costs about $10,000 in total, after which you continue your study under a paid apprenticeship which pays roughly $60,000 per year. For this thought experiment, we're going to assume salaries don't increase just to make the math easier. 5 years down the line, you'll have made $60,000 times 3 minus $10,000, which is equal to $170,000. The third path is to take a coding boot camp, which is becoming extremely popular these days. It can be done in about 6 months and costs about $10,000. The average pay for an entry-level programmer is about $60,000, so 5 years down the line, you will have made $60,000 times 3.5 minus $10,000, which is equal to $200,000. And finally, the fourth path is the non-coding boot camps, which I cover in my video about the top 5 remote jobs. This includes digital marketing, IT, UI UX, customer success, and tech sales. These boot camps only cost $500 and can be completed in roughly 3 to 6 months. The average pay for these jobs entry level is about $60,000. So 5 years down the line, you will have made $60,000 times 3.5 5 minus 500, which is $209,500. So as you can see, having a 4-year degree does not actually guarantee that you'll make more than the other 3 paths. In fact, all it does guarantee is that you will have missed out on making hundreds of thousands of dollars and also missed out on years of experience. People who take the other paths will have years of experience under their belt, which means their salaries will actually be much higher than what I illustrated in this thought experiment. Now, if they were to invest the money they made, they would be far, far ahead of you by the time you earned your first dollar. This is what I mean by opportunity cost. If you want to make money ASAP so that you can start investing for your retirement, check out my video on the top 5 remote careers available on the market today. These are careers that require only 3 to 6 months of study before being able to land a job. These careers are high paying with large room to grow, with the additional benefit of being remote jobs, which allows you to have the freedom to travel or work at home. I will link to that video in the description box below. I hope you found this video helpful. Besides that, stay tuned.